So we do have I think the panel was created very nicely, thanks to Avinit. We do have two moderators, Amarendra ji and Mahendra ji, and we have one manufacturer come, Mr. Mohan. We do have Amit Shah on the consultant side. We do have execution side, Tushar ji. And I am a D&B contractor from L&T. So this is a perfect creation of a panel. So thanks again. So our topic is, as you know clearly, expectations are achievements and aspirations on the steel construction. So we just want to go around our team. Let's see what are the achievements so far. Saying so, from our perspective, we started from long back to use the steel in our construction industry. You can say the structural steel buildings to late recently for the Statue of Unity. And last year, a Statue of Oneness. So, and I have seen our friend Niranjan Basu mentioning the steel very heavily. I got so many persons. First of all, one of the achievements of this board, like Amit was mentioning, to have so many steel industrial experts here is the first achievement. And that's one of the good achievements possible by the efforts of ASSMB and all you experts here and industrial panelists. Thanks a lot. And the second point, the journey of steel has been exciting for a long time, and we have been using steel more and more. And from our company perspective, we have increased the consumption from 80,000 tons to 1.5 lakh tons last year. And as a group of L&T, we are using almost 2.5 lakh tons. As morning, we were discussing with economic advisors to Minister of Steel, and we will increase much more. So with that promise, I think we can move forward to our panel discussion. Let me take it through the panelists. First of all, I will start with Amit Shahji. What are the achievements you think over the period of time in the construction industry we could make out of steel? Your views, please.
First, as you have already said, to have so many people sitting around, leaving their tea aside and listening to all of us, I think that's steel industries. We are seeing the steel fraternity today. Everybody sitting here. Okay, that's big round of applause for all of you. That's the biggest one. Coming back to the professional part of it, yes. When I started my career, we used to see, a 50,000 square feet building, we are very happy, it's a sizable project, we will do this, we will do that. Everybody was willing to grab that. Today, I think the size of projects have changed to 5 lakh square feet from 50,000. That's the achievement. That's the industry's achievement. People have belief in steel. They want to construct so many things in steel. That's the achievement. Industry is growing, and that is contributing to the growth of a country entirely. That's achievement. There are many achievements on personal ground, but I don't think that this is the right forum to be discussing about personal things, really speaking. So, yes.
Yep. Let me ask. To Amarendra ji, so your perspective?
I can only say one.
It's on.
I can only say one thing, that today 5 lakh square feet, 6 lakh square feet buildings in 6 months is no-brainer. No-brainer.
Simple as that.
And I think from what you said, doing a 50,000 square feet building, which used to take a year some time ago when I started my career, to doing a 5 lakh square feet, 6 lakh square feet in under 6 months is the journey.
Yeah.
The time is the essence now, much more relevant.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, can I ask Tusharji with respect to execution point of view?
Yeah, I think I would like to make this in a three-part statement. Achievement is, we are or a company, and I'm relevant in the industry is the first achievement in the current era. So after so many working, so many years. Second thing is also like we were doing work of say, civil construction earlier. In the process, we also added structural as our portfolio as far as construction is concerned. Then also we added third part as MEP other part. So it's also an achievement that we have migrated from a civil construction company to a complete solution company during the years. Third part also like we are also changing with reference to industry changing. We were doing maybe manufacturing alone, then we went to pharma, we went to other industry. Current relevant is we are doing semiconductors or probably data centers. So this is also achievement in the progress of a company or activity that we are relevant in the current era is also a big achievement as far as whole industry is concerned.
Okay, that's interesting. And can I ask Mohanji for your, complete manufacturing perspective?
See,
Yeah, on.
in fact, there is a sea change which has happened over the period of time. In fact, steel was only considered earlier for using for petrol pumps.
Yeah.
Then from godowns to warehouse itself is an achievement, the terminology changed. Then factories, then building large complex structures, then building in steel cranes of almost 500 tons, and metros, you name it. There is a sea change which has happened, and even for us, from almost from 50,000 to 300,000 tons of capacity for our company, and it's not only if you really look at the industry, we have challenged other industries to also come out with a lot of achievements like new grade of steels. Earlier there was no 350, now 450, people are talking 550, which was not available. And the another most important aspect is that it's not only the steel industry, the other related industries like paints, they have been challenged to come out with new technologies for fireproof paints or epoxies, and also coming out with new green paints. So everyone is challenged, and not only that, the technology, whether earlier people were using design, normal way, now we are talking from there to stats, which are all computerized, and new softwares coming up. Now the latest is BIM, so it is much more, user-friendly for very many agencies to work together. So achievements are significant. Then, like what we are directly referring to is that such a huge gathering of only to discuss about steel structure is itself a very significant move.
I think aptly said, and the growth of steel is so huge, and per capita consumption is increasing so large. Like morning Abhijit was mentioning about AI, once it comes to the next level, we'll be increasing much more consumption about it as well, right? So, long way. Yes. Now Mahendra ji.
I would like to take points from Amarendra.
Yeah.
I'm audible.
You can take this mic.
So I will take Amarendra's point further. So earlier I remember about in 2008 to 10, the warehousing, there were godowns, all small 50,000 square feet, 10,000 square feet, maximum lack of square feet. In 2010-11, a lot of institutional players started developing this as a concept, and wherein this industrial and logistic park development movement initiated. Amarendra was the start point for that development, and we have now reached out to such a level that we are earlier year's target was to complete 1 million square feet. Now we are each one of us is targeting about 4 million, 5 million in a year. So if you achieve, if you look at the steel consumption for industrial and logistic parks is almost 60-70,000 ton in a year is the consumption that we as an industry are consuming in the steel. So this is the achievement, or this is the achievement that we as an industry from a developer perspective are expecting from the steel fraternity.
Okay, interesting. So we have two developers expressing that they're expecting much more steel to come into way. So it's a good sign to start our further discussions up. Because this subject is very vast, I have to collate some questions so that I can ask them aptly, depending on the roles. Let me start a question with Mohan on the manufacturing part of it. See, what are the most significant technological advancements in the steel buildings that have impacted our modern construction? So how did it impact our construction? So maybe you have come a long way with respect to the manufacturing and supplying, erection, all that. So your thoughts on this, please.
See, first of all, there is a complete change in the manufacturing processes of steel construction. Earlier, it's not that the steel steel was not used in construction. It was used earlier, most of it was site fabricated. From there, now we shift. Now the only thing is that it is shifted to the factories. So when you are shifting it to the factories, the skill of a man doesn't really play a major role. It's basically your consistency of quality is what is important, because the machines manage the total quality and there are people who are only monitoring whether the quality is perfect or not. So a lot of new technologies came in into doing, whether it is a submerged welding, FCAW welding, a lot of technologies came in, but even that has been slowly getting outdated. The new technologies now are trying to make it much more seamless. When you talk about manufacturing, right, from design, it directly flows onto the machines, and whatever the detailer gives it, the machine, it is loaded onto the CNC machines, and so that there is no human interventions to really resolve or to tamper with any quality issues. So those are some of the things. And second, earlier, now with the new technologies and with the new softwares which are available, you are ready to make up any type of structures. Earlier it was all straight structures. Now we are talking about curved structures. In fact, first time when we did the Delhi Metro, when Mr. Sridhar was there, in fact, it was said they wanted a spherical type of thing, and in steel it was something which was not really comprehended at that time. So we had come out with some solution and started the Delhi Metro, which was completely curved. Then similarly, Bangalore Metro, if you really see, it's a completely curved structure. So these type of things were not really possible with a conventional type of fabrication setup. So these are some of the aspects, and main issue I would say that it's not only the steel fabrication, it is also the design capabilities to manage and to execute these projects was one. And one of the most challenging aspect, apart from manufacturing this fabrication or manufacturing the plant, was at the erection at sites. So there's a sea change of new technologies used at sites, basically involving how to improve the speed, at the same time focusing very heavily on quality and safety, which is one of the major aspects. Earlier, we never used to use, earlier when it goes to heights, it was scaffolding. Now we are using all boom lifts with a lot of safety technologies. Now we started using the new technology of pod lifting, where we do everything assemble at the ground, where the quality is proven, the torques are tested, safety is done, then we lift it up as a unit. So there are tremendous such type of new initiatives and technologies, but I see that there is significant strides still forward.
Yeah, I must accept, because during construction we use all this sequencing of jack, all lifting up parallel sequencing we do a lot. And also that we are taking almost lifts, cranes up to 1250 tons cranes, which we are using in our airports as well to erect. We did the T1C Mumbai connector building, which is a complete free span, if you see the curvature part of it. We did the fabrication and a plate section, and also we did T2 Mumbai, which is 35,000 steels. Even the production and erection, it took long modular type. We did a skywalk and walkway. We erected all the trusses of 54 meter spans, 64 meter spans. And now we're doing Navi Mumbai and one more. Anyway, the presentation is next after this, so we'll come there. So appreciate your point, definitely, sir. Let me go to next point to our consultant designer, sir, Amit Shah. How has steel construction contributed to sustainable building practices, and what are its limitations? It's an important point, just one point to add. It's an important point because, as we discussed in the morning, one topic of sustainable steel, going forward, this will become So state-of-the-art questions will be on that, and slowly they link the ESG to the company performance and construction performance as well. So the important question, Amit Shah will, I think, he'll give a lot of light on this.
Right. So with all sustainability, the first part comes is, can you reuse the material which you are going to use for your construction? With steel, that's a big yes. Against concrete you will never be able to reuse. In case if it requires to be removed, you'll have to spend a lot of money to get rid of those debris. all right? Whereas in steel, we have no such issues. Big advantage. Number two, yes, when you talk about green buildings, I think that's the first choice that anybody will raise. They'll say, okay, fine, go for steel building where you can have green building certified paints, you can have green building certified sheetings, you can have many other components which helps you to achieve green building certification, and that's in a way sustainable. You can reuse that material. Whatever you have used can again be re-rolled and reused whenever required, if it comes to that, number one. Number two, very controlled way of doing things. Like when we make a steel building, it is well designed, it is detailed, and exact quantity of material that you want to use is put to use. You're not wasting material. In concrete, in RCC, you will have ample of wastages. Right? Number three, involvement of manpower. Very limited involvement of manpower in steel construction versus that in RCC. So with the same number of skilled manpower, you can do much more construction. We can do it much faster, which again propels the growth, which again gives you sustainability. Because you're really speaking, in many of the cases where we design with steel building, the cost of steel building is actually less than the cost of RCC. I'm not factoring time in this.
I'll advance the question one more. Now we are comparing concrete to steel. Let us compare steel to steel. Now the present steel is also having a lot of carbon deposits. Can we look for a comparison of this to green steel?
To the green steel, yeah, I'm coming to that. So your next is how is that going to impact and what are challenges in that, right? So the challenges, I'm coming to that, but I have listed out few of the advantages that you get towards the sustainability, towards the reusability, towards the carbon neutral. Carbon neutral, there are green steel available now. Steel manufacturers have already started manufacturing green steel, which is carbon neutral. So again, you are not using carbon, you are not, I mean, there is no carbon credit deficits and all, right? So that's about sustainability, that's about why you should be using this. Coming back to the challenges that you will have with steel construction, yeah, there are a few challenges, but I'm sure we will come out of that. Challenges like how to do fireproofing of a steel. I think steel manufacturers have already found a steel which can withstand up to 400 degrees centigrade for 2 hours without doing any treatment, without applying any paint. So that's already available, number one. Number two, there are, we were seeing in one of the presentation, there are, you can have passivations and you can have anodes attached to your steel so that it won't corrode away. So corrosion is also taken care of by way of such kind of treatments. Okay. So there are challenges, but there are solutions available. And as we grow, those solutions will will have better and better solutions, right? Yes. So challenges should be there so that our brain remains active. We don't want to do prototype designs and prototype construction every day. Let's have some challenges. So that's good for us. But I'm sure we are capable of overcoming that.
Aptly said, challenges should be there, otherwise we don't grow.
Yes, exactly.
So next question, I'll take it to on the execution, Tusharji. What are the future trends and potential next big breakthroughs in construction technology? With respect to technology of construction, what do you see as a nice breakthroughs coming up for us?
See, if you see the existing era, the project values are increasing. Larger projects are coming to the market. The case is with L&T. And parallelly, there is a decrease in the duration of the project. Whatever we were supposed to do earlier, like 100 crore, maybe 12 months, now we are trying to do 400 crore in 15 months. So in that perspective, the whole activity has to be technology change. We are doing a tower of 150 meter, it cannot be a normal conventional activity. So each project comes with its challenge of execution. It has to be done independently in terms of, there is no something set of activities and you address to that, this will work there. So maybe some project comes with a shuttering challenge in terms of repetition, height and openings, everything. Some like what we do warehouses for developers here, it comes with the challenge of duration as well as there's a start, finish, start, finish. It's not something which is you're doing 300 crore at one go. Because it's a developer model. It's not a model for our own consumption perspective. So the challenges from that perspective differs. It's also a skill set is a major challenge because this point is maybe later part. But this is 10 years are going to be India's years. So current, we are all are facing the human challenge, workers, laborers, as well as your own staff. The skill set are changing a lot. When we doing, like when I mentioned, we are doing civil and MEP and part, suddenly you have those challenges. You have to have people who knows that activity. You cannot go search in them. So if it's not one, it is technological, but also comes with the challenges which is adjacent to that, which are also relevant in the whole project duration.
Fair enough. Apart from that technology part of it, you also have manpower issues, you got incorporation issues. Fair enough. Yeah, next question is to, again, Tusharji and Mohanji, for both. In what ways are the steel construction methods adapting to meet changing climate conditions? So I'll ask Mohanji first to take it.
Climate has been changing for a period of time, like I almost was discussing with many people. 5-10 years back, we never knew what was cloudburst. Today we hear that. And wind speeds of 180, 200 kilometers has become a norm. Now, the main thing is, of course, it starts from the designing, where we need to really ensure that the codes are strictly adhered. Just for saving costs, we should not really try to reduce certain weights and ensure that the building, well, the building will be stable, but during the extreme condition, the building will be tested. That is on the design front. Manufacturing, there is no major change. Coming to the erection part, there is, because with this type of environmental changes, with heavy rains lashing out, right now we do not know when the monsoon should be coming. So there is no fixed time. So that is the reason I was just telling, one of the technology used was pod lifting, where we do the total assembly down, and when there is some gap available, we assemble it at the bottom. There is a separate crew which does it, and whenever there is no rain or anything, following all the safety practices, we lift it. So first and foremost, there is no fatigue in the people who are really working, at, they are all specialized for working at the bottom and then working on the top. And another aspect which plays a very important role, normally we in construction industry don't really bother about the people who are working at the sites. So during those times, this type of technology helps. And not only that, many a times, on the site aspect, where we have seen that we had challenges where there is heavy rains and even the equipment doesn't move. The equipments are stuck up because in some parts of the country, the soil conditions are so bad that the vehicle gets stuck up. So at that time, we brought in some new technologies of, laying certain steel plates and all, and continuing our construction, because the rain lashes for around 2 or 3 hours, and after that it's closed. But the site is not workable for at least 5-6 days. So to make it up, we have used certain technologies where the equipments can keep moving even with a slushy atmosphere. And we have been putting one of the conditions to most of our customers, saying that please give us a compacted floor around, because that helps in ensuring that the erection speed continues. And it is definitely a cost to the to the customer, but that's if you really look at the overall project cost, that is nothing.
That saves the money finally.
It saves the money, because we are only, I think if you look at a price, you pay very high, but overall cost is getting impacted. So we have to ensure that things are compacted and proper storage place is given for storing material properly. And I think this will ensure that we are insulated from this type of environmental changes.
I resonate the same point, because while doing the stations for high-speed rails, We did face the same problem of loose soil around, and we had to do a lot of mixing of cement stabilization. Still, when the steel erection came in, it starts sinking. But finally, we had to give a level field for them to start erection. Nice point.
Many a times, what happens, even though we insist, most of the customers feel these guys are putting a lot of conditions because they feel that it is a cost. But actually, why we put it up is to ensure that the mutual interests are met to meet the project timelines. I think that's one of the main things which have to be driven down, saying that giving a compacted floor is not a cost.
Right.
It is actually an investment.
Perfect. Can I have the opinion of Tushar?
I will continue what Mohan was mentioning. See, basically, each location, project location comes with its own challenges in terms of weather, in terms of rain, in soil conditions. Like typically we work with Gujarat, some location, the soil is piling. Okay. So first of all, you have to figure out, like today I'm starting a project. Before monsoon hit, I have to figure out whether my pilings are ready or not. Then we will enter probably if you are doing some work of sheeting today, it's extremely hot, another couple of months. So maybe we have to figure out a duration of change, like we start in the morning, finish by 10, because you cannot handle steel in that time. Third also comes like you cannot do roofing during that time. Too windy. So it is when you have doing project with extreme safety conditions, you have to consider that nothing doing. You stop at 8 o'clock morning and start in the evening, or figure out the duration where you have lesser amount of wind. So all those parameters comes like if sometime we work in Coimbatore that side, it return monsoon. So when you are not working that time you have to figure out whether you have monsoon in October or November that time. So all these factors come, so you have to plan accordingly, maybe expedite certain works which we could figure out before rains, and at least you can work during rains above the ground level.
Okay, interesting.
Sorry, I'll add little bit of a design point on both of your concerns. See, all structures we must design for erection conditions. When we are designing, we know it has to stand for lifespan, all right, but during construction, the conditions are different. There's no sheeting load, fine, but wind is going to act on bare structural members. And those who have seen actual structural failures or actual PEB failures will agree with me. Majority of the failures have occurred during erection conditions and heavy wind conditions. We must take care of that. It's unpredictable. The structure must be designed for such kind of conditions. It goes without saying. If you have not done it, you are living with a lot of risk.
Absolutely. Construction stage analysis is a compulsory thing because
Yes.
it's the key for making it a final structure. So
Yes.
that's imminent. Definitely we need to do it.
Actually, I want to just add here, in one of our recent buildings, Amit Shah insisted on not doing the gable end sheeting till the end.
Till then, I stopped them. I said it is not designed for that.
He said this is going to be a disaster if you do it.
Perfect.
Designer will have to hold on to it. The building is not designed for this, sir. Please don't do it. So designers should know that I have done this, I have not done this. And it's better that you do it. But for some reason, if it is not done, please tell developer, sir, this is not done. Don't close it. If you close it, you are creating a balloon.
Yep. I was discussing yesterday with Sunil Godbole about the similar thing. One other project in Mumbai where designer did not think about the construction sequence. It's a 100 meters projection with a strut. And sequencing is not thought of. The final deflections with respect to loading, it comes to almost 80-90 mm and the facade cannot withstand. So that's all. So
The facade cracks. Yeah, that's it.
you'll get a facade glass crack because glass warping cannot take, even if you got 1.5 meter to 2 meter panels, it will be maximum 30-40 mm. So 80 mm deflection will have a glass failure. So that's all.
So you should factor that. It must be factored in.
It should be. Yes. Yeah, my next question, it's a trivial question for developers, so let me ask it. How do steel construction costs compare with other building materials, and how is this impacting its usage in our industry and our promoters? So this is for Mahendra.
Only raise the hand.
Yes.
Anything on cost, he's ready.
That's his forte.
I'll go down there. The thing is, compared to concrete, steel, on a item-to-item basis, yes, it is expensive. But when you look at
Waiting, yes.
It's there, yeah.
Okay.
But when you look at the overall building cost and also the time, steel definitely is preferred. And now, I mean, there was a time when probably we used to do 3 meter, 4 meter, 5 meters center to center columns.
Yes.
We have moved way ahead.
Far.
We want to do as much of column free space as possible. And that is only possible by using steel. Okay. So having said that, yes, steel is going to be the future for most of the buildings. And I can definitely say about logistic parks, there is no substitute as of now for steel.
Excellent, sir. Yep, Mahendra.
Yeah, I take again another point for the, because the steel, if you look at for an industrial or warehousing building, it is majorly comprising of steel. And the reason behind it is multiple. So one is cost, but definitely as if you plan a building in RCC or concrete as a warehouse, you won't get open spans and so on and so forth. So if you put all that factors together, it is steel building that comes into play. The second is time value of money. So if you put time as a value into the proposition, definitely steel is always cheaper in terms of cost. Because if you plan 200,000 square feet building in any other structural material that you visualize, I think it would take almost more than double the time, at least for completing than the steel building would do. Currently, we are trying to achieve steel buildings from a concept in 6-7 months to deliver. So that is not achievable. From a national perspective also, it adds value not only in terms of building construction for us as a developer, but for the end user can start planning the production, start of production dates as early as possible. So it is in the interest of the nation as well to have faster deliveries for whenever any plan is envisaged or conceived.
Okay, we had developers' view. From the design and build contractor perspective, I need to sit with them separately because I am not able to convince my management to go for a steel construction because our clients compare the cost of concreting. Unless the time is important, time is the essence of the project, we are not able to convince how can a concrete be a viable option and steel be a viable option in place of concrete. I'll sit with you separately. Yeah. Going on, next question, important, again, about design, Samit Shahji. How are modern computational methods like AI, machine learning are being used to improve the design and safety? So please address 2 points. One is design and safety of steel structures. Yep.
Right. So first let me answer the easier one, how to improve design. Yes, there are various tools which I have seen around, which people are using for their own purposes to check. One of them, I can tell you, when we design, after design, we'll prepare an estimate that this project will have so many kg per square feet or so much kg per meter square of consumption. So there are softwares which will interpolate and extrapolate previous data that I have designed a similar building in similar locations with similar kind of loads, and this was the consumption. Now your consumption is slightly more. So is there something wrong in design? It will tell you, you can again go back to design, check it, and then say yes, whether it is okay or not okay. Then there are softwares getting developed which will help you in check your designs. You yourself can run that module, and that module will say that, look, this looks to be something wrong. There may be something wrong in this parameter. Normally you assign this parameter to a column, but here you have assigned something else. So those kind of checking of a stat file or checking of drawings for that matter, they are in development. Yeah, of course it's in development, it's not done yet, but they are there. So this kind of technology will help you produce more accurate and better designs. Okay. And get more optimized results out of it, number one. Regarding your
AI,
second part was...
AI and machine learning.
No, this is AI. Somebody has...
Safety.
Safety. Second part is safety. So safety, number one is structural safety, that is taken care in what I have said. Second part of safety would be fire safety maybe. So we know even present Indian codes has a provision that if you are using particular thickness of sheet for manufacturing, it will automatically withstand certain temperature for so and so. For example, we use chimneys. When we design chimneys, chimneys withstand 200 degree, 300 degree centigrade temperature, and they are standing there for life, right? So those kind of things can be inbuilt in technology, saying that, look, if you use this, automatically you will achieve fire safety ratings. Right. Or maybe when you are designing it, that can be put as an option. That look, you want to design this to be a fire safe building, try to use minimum this thickness. If you do so, you will save on that verbicell painting, or you will save on those kind of things. Those things can be that can be built into the software that's available to us, right? So that's the kind of technology that we are looking at, and that's the kind of development that we are looking at from the softwares that's available. If the available softwares can't be amended, there can be an add-on module to that, which will run on top of that and will tell you that, look, if you make these changes, you are good to go for fire.
Correct. Yep.
Right?
Okay, interesting. That's a viewpoint. Nice. So just to quote on the AI machine learning morning session of
That was very interesting.
Anil and Shravan and Vijit was so in the mind still, fresh. We can't get away. So that's definitely another look. Yeah. So one last question with respect to this before we go for a aspirations perspective. What are the tallest steel structure buildings in India, and what innovations enabled the construction? Actually, this question is to me. So I'm sorry. So it's about, just to put in 2 words, it's about modularity. Any steel construction, if it's modular, it can be repetitive, and you can make it as a modular and erect it very fast. To mention our Statue of Unity in Ahmedabad, we had done this 182-meter statue by modularity. We did all the erection, that means manufacturing the bottom, lifted up secondary steel, tertiary steel completely. So though it takes a little bit of a time, it's sequential and effective with respect to planning of sequence and the wind load as well, and also very effective for erection. It's very uniform and seamless erection. It took some 10 months only for erection, after which we erected the bronze panels also on the top of it. But it all takes very systematically once you go for modularity. So one of the things which can multiply the steel structures very easily is modularity. I think whether facade panels or the column spacing or the steel complete members, if you got a modularity, easiest for steel. So that's my take on that. So let me go to the aspirations perspective, because we got 10 minutes balance. We'll take 5 minutes for aspirations, 5 minutes for questions. So let me start, team, on the aspiration perspective from developer first. So forum is open. Let me start with Amarendra ji. What are your aspirations? Are your consultants charging more? Are you able to do it better? Or you're, I don't know. I'm just putting the plan open.
But do you want to pass?
Very, very good.
Pass the question
for me.
Yep.
You have already given me a very good hint. So aspiration as a structural engineer has to be get paid better. Simple as that. And developers are sitting here.
Anyway, that's one of the questions, but you can definitely put how the steel can pursue it in the market and how your project can be much more better. So that's your take.
Actually, as a developer, we have aspirations
I think
of
Mike,
doing...
sorry, little up. Yep, you can use this.
Oh, okay. Does it stop working? Okay. So our aspiration is to do more, develop more logistic industrial parks, and do it faster at a very good cost. I used good purposely, okay? At good cost, which suits our business. I think that's what it is. But going forward, the requirement of green steel, certification from IGBC, GRA, whatever, is becoming more and more stringent. It has to be followed. So use of green material, yes, has to be there.
Interesting. Nice take. Yeah, Mahendra ji.
Yeah. In terms of developers, if you segregate it between manufacturers, so we are looking for green steel, some innovative sections, some ready-built sections, some high-grade steels, is the aspiration that we as a end user would like to put in. With respect to designers, again, efficient, because in our industry, it's very cost competitive industry in terms of leasing. I mean, if you look at Prime Minister's vision that we need to bring the logistic cost from 15% currently to 8% that we want to do to global benchmarks. So everything is reducing the cost of logistics, and that's where everywhere we need to bring in efficiencies, not at the cost of function though, but with innovation. So with innovation in different processes, be it manufacturing, be it design, be it sections, be it steel, be it grade, multiple formats. So we need to constantly be, as an industry, we need to be on the toes to how we can optimize. Every day we need to ask ourselves the question, how can we optimize? How can we optimize on different sectors and forums such that we are not compromising anywhere on the function or safety, but yes, we are efficient and competing in the global scenario. Okay. So that's the aspiration.
Oh, nice. Okay, let me ask aspirations from manufacturing perspective. Mohanji, yes, a lot of things.
Yeah, a lot of things. Lots. Maybe I'll put this into three parts. One, first aspiration is that I think developers have just talked, maybe I would like to talk about that. Let the developers keep their budgets, not keep on reducing the budgets, because right now there is a bloodbath going on in the market of at least pre-engineered buildings. A lot of newcomers have come in, and they're taking at prices which are not heard of earlier, and maybe it's only volume game going on, and the impact will be known later. So, okay, that's an advantage for anyone, but I would only request that they should really be developers or customers should consider that we are partners. You know, do not try to kill the partners, because later on we'll be in trouble. Because if you really see today in India, whatever we are supplying is the cheapest. You go to US or any developed economies, it's almost double the cost. So while we are trying to keep on dropping the prices, because what's happening is that today the entry barrier into fabrication or contracting is very low. So there is no major differentiation looked at, and it's only a short-term approach on only pricing. So that's really impacting. So that's my aspiration, that look at partnering with someone for long-term, whether it is manufacturer, contractors, architects, and ensure that there is no learning curve going on regularly. So actually it's a cost. Yeah, price, I always tell this, price and cost are two different things. Maybe price, we might be seeing that it is cheaper, but the overall cost is going to be very expensive. Whether it is cost of longevity, cost of quality, everything. So this is one thing I would request, I aspire. Of course, I would not request, it's only aspiration, because I can't request. No. Second thing, I aspire that a lot of we with India capability, what we have, we should be a very powerful player to export to the world. We don't have to really take an iconic structure, talk about a structure which was built in early 18th century of Empire State Building, talking about in India even in 2024. We don't have such type of buildings. And we always, in fact, I hear a lot of times, oh, we import, in fact, people talk with pride, I imported this structure. I wanted it to happen that it's the other way. The architects, the consultants, and the fabricators in India are so good. In fact, I've seen all over, we are no less. In fact, I would say that in the next 5 to 10 years, we should be the force to reckon. We should be the people who export our structures globally. So for that, we have to work together. We have to first ensure that we embrace new technologies. And of course, we have to do that at a faster pace. In fact, in one of the meetings, I met a European, I asked how much, he in fact asked what is the time frame for a project. I told around 4-5 months. He was shocked. He said, that's the time we take for planning. And I told, no, here we, in fact, are doing it for 6 months. Now the requirement was I should do it in 5 or 4. He said, sorry, this is not the way we work. But in India, it is the other way. In fact, I was talking only 4-5 days back for a big project of 20,000 tons. They are asking, can you do in 3 months? So this is the speed at which, and that is not possible with the conventional way. Let's accept it. Because if at all, whatever we can do, we can only do a delta difference. We have to embrace new technologies, whether it's not only in manufacturing, design, but more importantly, at the site's erections. Right. Because there we have a shortage of people, tremendous shortage of people. And I also aspire that we bring in, maybe in fact morning we were talking, bring in government regulations to ensure that our civil engineers are coming up. Nowadays, colleges are getting dried up with civil engineering. And over a period of time, in the next 20 or a decade or two, we don't find civil engineers. Maybe we cannot fabricate them, unfortunately. So this is something where we can bring in, and we aspire from the government, I was talking, like one simple regulation of government of converting the tax regime of sales tax into GST. Earlier sales tax was there, people were using godowns. People were using godowns only to save taxes, do a stock transfer and sell it in that state. But now we have to ensure that GST has made a significant impact of improving the steel consumption, a lot of warehouses. So these are some aspirations, and I hope that we will definitely achieve. I'm confident on that.
Very important aspirations, definitely. These are required, and I'm hoping that this will be possible, because we all concur with these resolutions are the possible things which can happen in future. So let me ask for you for 1 minute if you can manage that, Tusharji.
So it's a very difficult question Surya has asked and very less time to answer. So if you make a prioritize in what aspiration is, first must see, we all know that the next decade is India's decade, right? Everyone sitting here is going to do a lot of business, and going forward, everything will be short supply. Steel, hope not, but people, material, time. He's producing more. No? So he said material short supply, people will be short supply, time will be short supply. Okay, so what you have all mentioned, I summarize that basically whatever you do, any activity, it could be design or execution or planning, it has to be excellence activity, because we are going to face issue next decade, more business per more trouble. So it has to be excellence as well as innovation. What Mohan was mentioning, there are two key factors are going to play a major role in the next whole decade. Okay. One second thing, like what aspiration, this is my personal, you can say, we don't want to do a bulk work. We want to also do a special work. Okay, that is maybe my personal aspiration to do. Excellent. Yes, special projects, whatever it gives, probably down the line it will give more pleasure, especially in all sense. Thank you.
Excellent. That's a nice summation of the points. And just to add on one point last, see, earlier we used to do detailed design of some large projects up to 8 months, 9 months, 10 months. Even now international consultant does. But the requirement of present day clients are becoming about 3 months detailed design for large airports, large convention centers. They're becoming very unrealistic expectations. But I think somewhere they need to realize that it requires some time to do everything. So anyway, so all these points summation, I think we are very eager to see the future, which will have our aspirations fulfilled with the achievements as a backdrop and the aspirations to the front. And I'm confident that with this team and the team ahead here, and all the structural steel aspirers will make it much better, and we'll see steel as the main point of it, and we'll meet again and again with Avanith as the person who conducts all this. Let's meet up again and again. Thank you, all the best. If you have any question answers, time is up for it here on the board, but you can ask. I don't know, I'll leave it to the organizers.
They already come, so.
Only one question, yes. we can keep the questions offline because we have our own My Pet project, of course, where my clients are here who will present at Nagomi Airport. We are also eager to see this presentation. I think let's all get ready for that. Thank you all.